Hey, gorgeous soul, it's Vix, and I'm here with your pick a card reading for the new moon in Cancer, or whenever you happen to stumble across this video. Before we pull some cards, a couple of things to tell you about that are happening in New Age Hipster World. I am presently open for readings. If you would like a reading with me, all of the deets will be below on how you can hook that up. I also have a bunch of workshops that are available at the moment. I've just recorded the Dealing with Difficult People workshop, so that is available, plus a whole bunch of other workshops and courses from previously. And I am about to begin the Kundalini Awakening 8-week course, diving deep into the teachings of Kundalini Yoga. If that's something that sounds interesting to you, the link is below. So let's pull some cards. So we're doing it a little bit differently this month, and we're going to do a pick a card. So let's see how that goes. I'd love to know from you in the comments, is this fun? Is this useful? Is this helpful? Or do you prefer me just to pull some cards for the collective? So let's begin by just kind of taking a moment to tune in. Please only do this if it's somewhere where you're safe to do this. Don't close your eyes if, you know. But if you can close your eyes, if that feels comfortable to you, I invite you to close your eyes, maybe put your hand on your heart. And let's just take a deep breath in together. So inhale and exhale. And just take a moment here to just arrive in this sacred space. And to set an intention, bring to mind a question that's been on your heart, on your mind, a situation in your life that you'd like some clarity or guidance on. And just let that anchor into your heart. And just set the intention that you'll receive some guidance, some support, something that will help you on your journey as you move forward, as you move through this new moon into the next moon cycle, the next moon phase, and the new and next phase of your life. So let's take another deep inhale and exhale. And let's see what is in the cards. So this is super tricky to do. I've already pulled the cards and I'm trying to hold them up so that you can see them. And we have, this here is set 1. We have an oracle and a tarot card for each. Set 2 is in the middle and set 3 is over on my left, on your right. So take a moment to see which group of cards you are drawn to. Maybe the number draws you in, number 1, number 2, or number 3. Maybe you're drawn to one of the sets of cards here on the screen. Or maybe you want to see what all of the cards have to say. Maybe you are drawn to 2 of them. Whatever, whatever feels good. You can watch this whole thing and take whatever resonates. So to let you know what decks we're using, Goddesses Among Us. This is the deck I created with Ellie and Rockpool, and I love it so much. Hopefully you do too. And I'm using the Seers Tarot, which is one of my absolute favorite tarot decks by Chris Ann. She is amazing. I love her. Okay. Set number 1. You have Aphrodite, beauty, romance, and self-love. And you also have the Tower from the Seers. So this is a really interesting set of cards. On the one hand, we have the Tower energy that can feel very forceful and very much pushing you out of your comfort zone into spaces that maybe are uncomfortable. And then you also have this beautiful Aphrodite energy that feels so loving and safe and supportive. There's some stuff coming through for you for this moon. Cancer is such a beautiful sign, but it's also very, very emotional. So there may be some stuff coming up for you this moon around really how you feel about yourself. How do you feel about yourself? And you have an opportunity here. The Tower always brings an opportunity to release, to let go, to burn away all the old whatever, the old whatever. You may be feeling like you have some real kind of limiting beliefs around how you feel about yourself at the moment, like some real limiting beliefs, like around I'm not pretty enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not whatever enough. And they may be really conscious, you may be very aware of those beliefs, or they may be things that you're not so aware of, but yet, you know, when you try to go out into the world and speak with the people or do things in the world, you feel a little bit stuck. You feel a little bit blocked, like you can't kind of make things happen and make things move as much as you would like to. And I feel like so much of what is happening for you at the moment, if you are feeling those blocks and those challenges, there's a real message here around a lack of self-love being a big part of what may be blocking you at the moment. And I speak about this in my manifesting book because I think this is such a big thing that we don't talk about enough. Self-love is kind of like the key for everything. Self-love, self-esteem, self-worth, whatever you want to call it, it's all the same thing really. It's just how you feel about yourself, right? If you feel good about yourself and you feel like, yeah, I'm a pretty okay person, I can do cool stuff in the world, I can make things happen, I can make a positive difference, like, you know, I'm a good person, I'm a decent person, I try really hard to do what, you know, whatever I'm here to do. If you feel like that, it's so much easier to move through the world. If you constantly kind of feel lacking about yourself, it's really hard to manifest your dreams. It's really hard to live your purpose. It's really hard to do all of these things that you're here to do, right? You can't live your best and highest life if you don't believe in yourself. So your assignment this moon is to connect with that energy of the Tower and to burn away and release and let go of some of these limiting beliefs that you have. And there's many different ways to do this, and one way to do it, one of the really basic, really simple ways to do it is to begin to look at, where does this come from? Where does my lack of self-love come from? Where does my lack of self-esteem come from? And as I'm talking about this, some of you might be like, okay, yeah, I definitely feel that. And some of you might be like, you know what, I've done a lot of work actually on my self-esteem and on my self-love. Then here's just the invitation to go to the next level. Nobody has this totally figured out, right? Nobody on this planet has 100% self-love all the time and totally like has it down. Nobody does. So there's always opportunities to find this next, the next layer or the next level of whatever is happening within you, how you're feeling about yourself, and to release some of those limiting beliefs. So you go back, you look at your past and you look at where these have come from. Maybe someone told you you weren't pretty enough. Maybe you had a situation with somebody who told you were stupid. You know, all of these things that happen to us in our lifetimes and past lifetimes too, if you want to go there as well. But we can look at those and then we can identify them and we can go, maybe that's where I picked that up. And once we know where we got it from, we can kind of go back there and we can put it back. We can put it back and say, no, thank you. I'm not going to actually carry that around with me any longer. There are so many different ways you can do this. Meditation, visualization, you can write it down and burn it. I did this practice actually just recently when I felt like there was some stuff coming up, some self-esteem stuff coming up for me. And I just wrote down just a few words of just the stuff that I felt was coming up, and I just burnt it. And I just did a little ritual around it of just like, I'm letting this go, and really affirmed that, like really clearly, I'm not going to carry this anymore. I'm going to let this go. So it is a journey, definitely. But this could be kind of the key for a lot of things for you right now. If you can find some more self-love and if you can work on your self-esteem, then a lot of other things feel like they can kind of fall into place from there. So I hope that this was useful. I hope that this resonated. Let me know in the comments. Sending you lots of love. So, set number 2, you have the Priestess. The journey, initiation, blessing, and activation. And you have the 3 of Swords. So this is such an interesting combo, and I love to talk about the 3 of Swords for a second, because this is one of those cards in the tarot where people are often like, I don't really want to see the 3 of Swords. I prefer you to pick me another card. And lots of us have done it in our own readings for ourselves too, right, when we see the 3 of Swords. Now, traditionally, this is a card of heartbreak, right? If you read kind of any tarot book, any little white book that comes with your tarot deck, there's going to be some kind of words around heartbreak, disappointment, disillusion, whatever. And that can definitely be a part of what's happening when that card comes up. But I personally have always seen this card as a card of healing. The 3 of Swords, there's actually a video somewhere on my YouTube channel about this. The 3 of Swords is really interesting because it speaks about heartbreak, and yet swords are mental. Swords are all about your mental body, not your emotional body. So that in itself is something interesting to think about. But I like to see this as, okay, we're making a decision here to work on healing and to heal ourselves. And with the Priestess here, the Priestess is very much about the journey and the initiation process. You have this beautiful space here in front of you that's opening up to invite you deeper into your own personal healing journey. So this is a really beautiful time for you to focus on just looking after yourself. And Cancer is such a beautiful sign to do that in, because it's so emotional and because it's so heart connected. And you may actually find as well in Cancer Seers and Cancer Moons, anytime Cancer is kind of like guiding us, it's a real, like, it can bring up a lot of emotional stuff. So you may find that actually during this moon, your emotional stuff is coming up. You may feel the emotions a little bit more than you usually do, and you may be wondering, what do I do with this? How do I navigate through it? How do I what can I do to move through this with ease and grace, instead of letting it kind of consume me? But I feel like your guides are just kind of coming in to say, focus on your own healing journey, focus on your own healing, and don't worry about what anybody else is doing right now. Be there for your friends and your family as much as you need to be. Do the things that you need to do. Go to work, pay the bills, like all the things, whatever you need to do. But outside of that space, like, really try to find some time to just let yourself be and let yourself heal, and take some of the pressure off yourself. That feels like a huge message coming through, is take some pressure off yourself. I feel like you're putting so much pressure on yourself to have it all figured out and to have gotten past, whatever's kind of coming up for you at the moment. But healing isn't linear. Healing is a spiral journey, and we come back to the same things over and over again. And we come back and we look at them from a slightly different perspective, which is beautiful. But it's not like, oh, I've done my healing and ticked the box and now I move on with my life. It's not like that. Stuff always comes back up to the surface. But this really feels like a time where you're being given permission to just look after yourself. Give yourself permission to rest. Give yourself permission to heal. Do kind, beautiful things for yourself. Do kind, beautiful things for yourself. That's coming through really clearly. Do kind, beautiful things for yourself. Treat yourself how you want other people to treat you. Give yourself grace, give yourself love, give yourself whatever it is that you need right now. Nurture yourself, look after yourself, let yourself heal. That's your big message for this moon. Just you know, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. You don't even have to do a moon ritual. You don't have to you don't have to pull cards. You don't have to do anything. You know, just sit and be and listen to some great music or watch your favorite movies or read a good book or, you know, whatever lights you up. Go for a walk outside, like all of these things, and do it with the intention of, I'm doing this to heal myself. I'm doing this to give myself grace. You know, do it with that intention. Don't just do it as like, oh, Vix told me I got to do this. Vix told me I've got to look after myself, so I better do it. You know, do it because you love yourself. Do it because you love yourself and you know that you're worth it and you're deserving of healing and all good things. I hope this was useful. I send you so much love. Okay, set number 3. Your cards are the Two of Cups and Lady Sarah. Oh, I love Lady Sarah so much. Divine Union, New Earth, Holy Grail, and Oneness. This is such an interesting combination of cards. So Lady Sarah is said to be the daughter of Jesus and Mary Magdalene. And the Two of Cups is all about connection. And so one of her keywords is divine union. And I always think of Lady Sarah as bringing us this message of the balance of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And that is your message for this moon. It is all about balance. It is all about finding the middle point and moving through your life from the middle point rather than one of the two extremes that we can kind of go to at times. So how do you do that? How do you do that? This is one of those things people talk about all the time, where like, oh, we need to balance the masculine and feminine energies within. But it's like, okay, what does that even mean? How do we do that? So when we're talking about masculine and feminine energies, we're not talking about men and women. Let's just take that off the table straight away. We're talking about the way that I like to see it is that we're talking about the inner work and the outer work. So you do the inner work on yourself and you take time to meditate and get to know yourself. You work on your own mindset, you work on your energy body, you do all of this stuff for yourself, right? But in doing the stuff for yourself, you're also doing the stuff for the world, because in doing that, you enable yourself to become more effective as you go out into the world. You have a stronger aura, you have more confidence, you have more self-love, you have more love to give to others. And so then you can make a positive difference in the world. This card speaks about New Earth. You are here to create New Earth. We are all here to create New Earth. And I would love to make a really ranty video about this sometime, because I'm really tired of seeing all of these like posts and videos about New Earth. Like, it's this thing that's just kind of going to happen. It's not just going to happen. New Earth is something that we have to make happen. We have to create New Earth. And you are here to do that. We are all here to do that. But there's a big message for you right now on this new moon that you are here to do that. And the new moon's a fantastic time to be sowing seeds, planting seeds, thinking about what you want to manifest, thinking about what you want to create in the world. They're saying really clearly, really strongly that when you are manifesting, when you're setting intentions, when you're thinking about what you want to create in the world, make sure that these are things that are going to bring you blessings, but also bring blessings to the world. So watch out for your ego desires. That's not to say that you can't have nice things. You can have nice things, but watch out for when the ego convinces you that, you know, your new handbag is the most important thing. Maybe you do genuinely need a new handbag, and then, you know, okay, work on manifesting that. But you are here to essentially manifest a new earth, a plane of existence that is more compassionate, more high vibrational, is more loving and wise and kind than the plane of existence that we're all currently trying to navigate through. So this is a big one. This is a big one. And I feel like your guides are really kicking you up the butt a little bit with this to invite you to remember that you are very, very powerful, and that you're a very, very powerful light worker. If you choose to use that term, maybe it doesn't resonate, but you're here to be a leader of light, and you are here to lead, you are here to create, you are here to change the world, essentially. So that's a pretty big message. And if you listen to this whole video and you've got to this point, you can still, these two other messages previously may also be for you, but this is like, okay, this is a little bit more intense. This is the message for those people who are like, right, it's time to get to work. It's time to get to work and create new earth. So what can you do now at this new moon? What intentions can you set to start to be able to create that? And one of the things I feel that you're being called to do, or that we're all being called to do, is to focus more on ourselves, in the sense of making sure that we are doing our spiritual practices, whatever that is for you. Making sure you're showing up for some kind of spiritual practice every day, that you are doing what you need to do so that you can stay grounded, so that you can stay centered, so that you can stay in love and compassion as much as you can, so that your aura can be clear and bright. Because when it is, that's the divine feminine work of looking after yourself, making sure that the inner world is doing what it needs to do, and then you go out into the world and you take action and you make change. And that's the divine masculine work. It's the inner and the outer. It's the inner work and it's the action in the world. And it's really important that we're doing both. So make sure that you are doing both. And if you're struggling with one or the other, then come back to balance. You know, if you're really struggling to be out in the world, if you're finding it really hard, you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, you feel like you're flailing around, you're like, I don't think I'm making a difference, but I really want to be making a difference, then you come back to your spiritual practice and you focus on that for a little while until you start to get the guidance and the answers. If you feel like you're really pretty effective in the world, but you feel a little bit disconnected from your own heart and your own being, then it's time to go inwards a little bit more. But what you'll find is really interesting, though, is that usually people who are quite good at one of those things tend to be pretty good at the other one as well. A lot of people who are really effective in the world tend to be the people that are also doing the work on themselves. It's very difficult to kind of just have one of those things going on. And the more you find, the more you focus on doing the work on yourself, the more you'll be like, oh, I just feel like I'm more effective in the world, without even necessarily having to really try that hard. You'll just suddenly, be like, oh, okay, I made a difference today in some way. So yeah, you're here to change the world. That's a pretty big message. But also with this Two of Cups, I also feel like this is a reminder that, you're not on your own. You're not doing this on your own. There's many of us who are here to be the change. There's many of us who are in this group together who are like, okay, we're all here to make a positive difference in the world, and you don't have to do it all on your own. You only have to do your part. And you're also, not only do you have community and other people here on the planet who are on the same journey as you, but you also have your guides, your angels, the goddesses, the gods, all the beings of light who are with you, who guide you, to support you. So please call on them. Don't forget to call on them for support. Okay, so that was a bit of a big one. I love that message though. I love when they just come through and they're like, right, you got to create new earth, get on with it. So I really hope that serves and supports you. I am sending you so much love and wishing you just such a fantastic new moon. Lots and lots of love.